Hi, you guys. Uh, Good afternoon. It is Los Angeles. Hot, hot, hot out here. Um, okay. So this letter, I think I read you this letter, or some letter like it, where it's talking about federally protected horses. Remember, federal horses, in most of these documents, it looks like those are actually people. I believe that federally protected horses, horses that are wild, horses that are a herd that they're turning over to BLM to buy into as slaves, basically, and then order them castrated. When I say BLM, I mean Bureau of Land Management. I'm not talking about anything else. All right. So we're just going to read it. We're writing to express our concern with the Bureau of Land Management's latest plan to employ controversial surgical sterilization methods on federally protected horses in the confusion herd management area. All right. Now, what's a confusion herd? Those are people being owned, prevented their own welfare, prevented their own rights to their own earnings, their own right to direct their fortune, their own right to procreate, their own right to their own assets. Those are the confusion herds. If you can figure out another meaning of what that is, confusion herd management area in Utah, the environmental assessment for this confusion herd management area, which encompasses more than 235,000 acres and is home to approximately 551 wild horses, marks the agency's fifth attempt to over-rectimize wild horses, despite significant opposition and concerns from federal lawmakers, the American public, veterinarians, and the National Academy of Sciences. Okay, now we gotta look at this very carefully. You know, I've been writing to these people saying that castrating women or framing them for crimes they didn't commit, or claiming in California they can commit 3 crimes, then you get to castrate them by anyone that didn't like them, Karen Tucker or Nicole Kelly, who wants the money from the castration. Remember, castration is not just castration. If ovaries and oocytes are part of a component of opiates, that is billions of dollars for big industry every year by castrating what they're calling wild horses in the confusion herd management area. And that means people who don't know that they're being kept here as slaves. That means people who don't know that they're going after certain groups who are being held in detainment permanently in immigration court, even if they weren't born in other countries. Just on paper, that's what they do in California. So I'm looking at this, and basically it talks about how they do it, and the risks can be serious: hemorrhaging, infection, and even death. So they know that it causes death, and they do it anyway. And they bully the people to get them to the surgical clinic so they can do this procedure as a hate crime. And it's not just for money. It's also a hate crime because the women don't know that they're being bullied or filmed or spied upon in their apartment buildings or whatever else they're doing to the people in the supposedly federally protected confusion herd management area. All right. Those are the people deprived of real education, deprived of real opportunities to work, deprived of their earnings by pretending you're 5 years old. As you are aware, okay, so I'm not going to read this because they're basically saying you can't do this because the surgeries cannot practicably or safely be widely implemented on the range anyway. That would be in what would be non-sterile conditions. As you're aware, 2 major academic institutions, Oregon State and Colorado State, withdrew their support from BLM's prior efforts to assess the outcomes of performing ovarectomies on horses in the Warm Springs HMA in Oregon. Again, that's confusion management area. Confusion herd management area. They're calling it HMA, but it's really CHMA. Confusion herd. Why is it called confusion herd? They're telling it to us, they're just not telling us what it means. So we have to determine what it means for ourselves. As you are aware, these people backed out. In November of 2018, a federal court enjoined the BLM from proceeding with its plan to ovarectomize mares, citing concerns about the lack of independent observation and the lack of inquiry into whether the sterilization procedure was socially acceptable, a factor the agency previously identified as integral to its efforts. It's not socially acceptable to sneak into a plastic surgery clinic and do whatever you want to the women, but that is what they're doing. And then we've got people like Colin McGinnis bragging online about how, it would be rude not to do it. We have a lot of people mocking the women that they're doing this to. And I really don't believe this is all they're doing. I believe they're doing a lot more to these people. In the NAS using science to improve the BLM wild horse and burro program, the comprehensive report on management strategies commissioned by the BLM, experts directly advised against employing ovarectomies. Okay, so this is weird. The Confusion HMA Management Plan. I mean, it's saying that they wanted one non-BLM affiliated veterinarian the opportunity to observe the ovarectomies because they're doing it in a, look, when I say this is genocide, I am not joking. They are trying to kill a certain group and call it management when that group is slowly becoming one of the smallest populations on earth. So this is very, very scary that this is going on and that no one's doing anything about it. This letter isn't enough. You have to forbid them from doing it because they're going to do whatever they can get away with as a hate crime. And they're doing it as a hate crime to wipe out a population. And that is terrible. That is terrible. So with the proposed Warm Springs experiments, the BLM had sought to quantify the rate of mortality and morbidity. They want to see who will die from doing it. An apparent recognition of the significant welfare risks to these federally protected animals. So if the federal government is protecting you in terms of hiding the documents so that you don't know you're being kept as a slave or chattel, under Davy Michelle or, Billy Million or whoever's keeping you as chattel, they are doing this calling you a federally protected animal. You are not a federally protected animal. They're keeping you as a slave and stealing your rights to your own earnings. So that when you go to school, they tell people that you're a federally protected animal so that they can earn money on spying or put people in your building to spy on you. And I don't think that means... So just showing they had a risk. They knew the risk. But it doesn't matter if they know the risk. They're also mocking people all over the internet. So you got to also show the state of mind of the people who knew the risk of killing women. This isn't mayors. This is women that are voted into a breeding program where they steal your ovaries and sell them. And are they making babies from them and selling the babies? It looks like they are, because on one of these people's ranch, I think it's called the Struthof Ranch, it had 3-alarm fire, which is Ruby Friedman's old band. 3-alarm fire mixed with another thing. So it's a bullying organization mixed with the egg of the person to create the baby. So they also call it unfinished business when they go and try to kill you. And, you know, when you have military people showing up at places where you're getting scanned and their Department of Defense from Saudi Arabia, you have to understand our military knows what they're doing. So it's not like it's just the BLM. They like to say, oh, it's just the BLM, but it's not. It's the military. They're allowing things to happen that you would not believe. Sexual assault, when you look up, if you're a targeted individual and you look up each of your exes that posed as boyfriends, and it says aggravated sexual assault on a child, on all of them, that shows they're keeping you as a child. You are a federally protected horse because you have something in your DNA that the federal government wants for themselves, and they're depriving you the right to the same freedoms as the rest of the American people. And that is completely wrong. I don't care if it's AIEA or the Department of Defense or BLM. It is slaughter of a group. They're calling us the confusion herd because we are not given the same curriculum as everybody else. We're not learning the same, we're not learning anything important in school. So they're claiming that they don't, you know, you have to look up Sheila Jackson's record of ordering these things done to people. Sheila Jackson in Congress. So these people are claiming that oh no, they're not allowing it. No, they're the ones that have to vote on it. They have to say yes or no. She said yes to what happened to me overseas. So I know who Sheila Jackson is. I'm very aware of who she is. And it shouldn't be her voting. It should be somebody that wants to preserve people of a certain lineage, not people who want to slaughter those same people. I don't think that's fair. Similarly, the fiscal year Senate Interior Appropriations Report delineated that any population growth suppression strategies employed by the BLM must be proven safe and humane. Why are they doing population growth suppression strategies at all on a certain group? Why? It's not orphans. It's not orphans. It's people that they choose who have a certain body composition, a certain makeup, a certain muscular composition so that they can create athletes or whatever. You know, it's not crazy. Now they're saying doing this would fail to meet that bar.